Welcome back to part 2 of implementing our conversation dialogue window. As promised, I did a bit of work offline to try to figure out where was that bug? Why was it not actually rendering text in our window? I'm going to show you where where the project is at right now, and then I'll show you what I had to do to fix it. So, running our HUD, and here goes. So, the problem, I'll show you the code here. Where is it? GFX is usually a global variable, refers to the graphics display, but something about the way we're attaching onUpdate to the event loop in the events namespace, it's losing track of the globals somehow. Not exactly sure why. Globals.gfx, like referencing that way, fixed it. So that's what we're going to do for rendering. And I added a function to measure the string. Basically, the font has a characters array, and each member of that array has a width and height. We're using that so that if blink is set to true, then it will flash our continue message in the bottom right of the corner. Graphics width minus the width of a string, and moving up from the bottom by the height of that string. That's what's giving us the blinky thing here. And let's see, we're doing the split lines. We're reversing that because we're running bottom to top instead of top to bottom. And then going over each line, and then going over each character in that line, and printing it one character at a time, which it's efficient enough. It's not rendering our entire text because when it gets to 6 lines, so we have to put this check here, otherwise like length mod 6 equals 0 when line count is 0. But there's no use waiting when there's no text being displayed. So every 6 lines is text waiting will go to true, and this will pause, and it will blink. The next thing we need to do is enable, here you can see, continue, bracket, enter. The expectation is you should be able to press enter or to continue. We're going to work on that now. And remember from last time, there was in the GUI library, no, in either event or GUI, I remember seeing on key down. Let's find that right quick. Word key, no, okay, it wasn't there. Syslib events. Got a key handler. How do we use a key handler? I would love to know. Got event handler, key handler, event sprite, event loop. Event loop has an on key down, on key up, just on key. On got key. It looks like that's for characters specifically, maybe? Like these are, let's see, on key down, and on key up are all assigned to a key handler. And then got key is an empty function that we can probably override. Let's take another look at key handler, see if there's anything that we want to do with that. We have a mode, 0 and down, 1 while held, 2 and up. A check function, which looks like that's where most of the meat is happening. Was pressed, that push K. So that gets added to this other array, which is currently null. If was pressed is null, then was pressed is assigned to a map. I'm not sure there's anything we should be doing with a key handler. It looks like that just kind of works. I'm wondering about the onGot key, which is just a function. Didn't want to do that. Here, let's close this without saving. Reset. I don't even know if system files can be overwritten like that. I just don't want to try. So if key available, then call onGot key. That might just be all that we. Oh, stuff to check. So on update, on key check, and we could write our own key handler, but all we really need is onGot key, I think. Let's try implementing our own onGot key function. Looking for the event handler. It takes one parameter, that key char. So events loop on dot key equals function char. Two flags. If key char. Actually, with the code. What was the character code for an enter key? I will show you how to find out. There's the J. Capital A is 65. Enter is 10. Escape is 27. You got Control C to break that loop. Anyway, that might only apply to the regular keyboard enter, not the numpad enter. I don't have a number pad on my keyboard though, so that doesn't really matter. It might matter later though, because I think our game is written to work with key names instead of key chars. But I guess one problem at a time. So when you press the if is text waiting, let's do it like this. Because if the text is done and the user presses enter, we want to close the window. Otherwise, if it's just waiting and you hit enter, then you can keep typing, which, let's see, what's the best way to do that? Let's see what happens if we just increment the index. Because that would be might be enough to throw off length. You know, let's just run it. I'm not sure if it'll be enough or not. I just want to see. Give it just a minute. Gonna continue. We're gonna press enter. Well, I didn't do anything. Basically, here I just want to make sure the on got key is being called, and we're gonna check to see if is text waiting or is text done flags have been toggled. Let's see, anything else we want to do here? Problem is that we're going to be on that sixth line for the entire length of the line, so we need to do something more than increment index plus 1. I think what we want to do is clear the simplest way to do it. I'm trying to think of a couple different ways to do it right now. We can clear the visible text, but then we'll need a different way of checking to see. No, we should just be able to clear the visible text. This. And we'll keep typing from wherever it's going to pick up. Toggle is text. That will put us back on length 0 for the visible text, which will toggle is text waiting to false, which will put us back in this loop. So we will keep the message will keep typing. Checking to see if is there anything else that we need to do to make this work. We still need to handle is text done. We will do that momentarily. Goes. I'm going to press it now. There it goes. And now we are at the end of the text, but there's no blinky thing. We need a blinky thing saying that done. I'm gonna do this a couple ways. We need a blink message. Now we need to toggle whether we're displaying the blink message. Um, let's only do the blink message. I'll show you why in a minute. We really only need one of those. So measure the blink message, then draw the blink message. I'll make sure that it's not null and that it is defined. Trying to decide if I want to make the blink message a required parameter. I don't think it needs to be required. Now down here, blink. If blink, then else, and if. So if currently blinking, we'll render the text along with the blink message. Otherwise, we'll just render the text. And need a different message if the text is done. I'm just going to continue, question mark, or done. So now if we should have a messages for waiting or done. We're not going to do anything with that yet, with the done flag yet, other than the message. I just want to see, does it work? Land not found a map, line 67. Blink message. Message equals null. In a lot of languages, if blink message equals null, then this part will be false, and this part won't get executed. It looks like in many script it might be executing both conditions of the AND operator. Is it's checking the length of a null map. No, it should be enough just to do this. And then if the blink message is empty, it will still just render an empty string and no harm done. Okay, asking to continue. And now we're done. Blinked in the done message. Oh, that's so nice. Now, get out of that. What I want to do is when the user, if they are done, the user presses enter, and you close that window. So, what is the best way to close the window? A window close function looks like close function is going to go to sprite display, remove all the controls associated to this window, remove the content sprite, remove the shadow, remove all the bits, grab the next window and move that one to the front. All right, so let's implement that. On.key, if you're done, close the window. See what happens. Okay, continue. Enter. We're done. Press enter again, and the window closes. Ta-da! Okay, so far so good. Now, what we need to be able to do, next step on integrating this into a game, we don't want any of this to start unless we trigger, unless a conversation is triggered. So we need some triggering event to start the message, like char equals m. I think in our game it's the spacebar starts a conversation if you're close to an entity. So we'll use that. And that would like begin the conversation. I don't know if globals is still needed everywhere, but I guess I've gotten a little paranoid. I'll see if I can go through and clean that up later. And then we need a begin conversation function. Let's see, I don't want to put that in the wrong place. We got key, begin conversation, feed it the conversation text. It's not a conversation, it's a monologue. I'm not renaming that right now, though. Let's say we're going to give the name of the monologuer and the text they're speaking. I'll rename window 1 to conversation window. When the window is closed, we are going to get rid of that reference. Conversation window. Initially, conversation window will be null. Begin the conversation. Open a window. Give it the name that was fed in. Move into position. Assign all these state variables that we're going to tidy up soon enough. These are constants, they're not changing. So let's standardize that. So that should be everything we need to start the conversation. Make it, you hit the space bar and start the conversation. NPC 0 is going to start chatting. At the end of the conversation, you press enter again to close it. Begin conversation. Also, conversation window is not null, then we're just going to duck out. False. Return false, you couldn't start a conversation. Return true if you could. Wait, let's test it. Well, that didn't work. Line 67, width does not exist. Why not? That width should exist. Let's try the same thing we're doing everywhere else. We're just gonna stick the global reference on everything. Hopefully that'll pull that into the local scope. This when we're initializing the global variable, so I'm going to keep that there. I hate tagging everything with the globals dot. I really will try to fix that soon. Line 68, error looking up width. Oh, I bet simpler than that. I bet conversation window is null. Let's try that for size. That way, all this logic doesn't happen unless there's actually a conversation in progress. Okay, got a blank screen, hit spacebar to start, and we're off. Hitting it again does nothing, which is good. Key does nothing until you hit see the continue blinking, and then it continues. That's right, we're done. Hit enter, closes. Oh, hitting enter after it's closed gives us a problem. Here. Check the enter key if a conversation is running. So null means there's not a conversation running. Then we can check the spacebar. Just again, space to start. Right, hit enter to finish. Now, space should restart. Start a new conversation. Oh, that's pretty cool. So that's working pretty well. It needs to be packaged up nicer. The click sound, I mean, if you watch the video I recorded on the sound class, you basically, there's a lot you can do with dynamic sound generation. Making a 0.005 second sound, note 60 is middle C, giving it a volume envelope, goes from one, like, full volume to nothing, halfway it goes to 0.3, so it kind of makes a steep decline to silence, and we're using a sound wave. So that makes a little click sound. And we're playing that every time we increment the index. Right down there. But let's see. This has gotten pretty big. 159 lines. One of the things here, we're going to need to integrate this into our game. I'm going to do this in two phases. The first phase, we're going to package this up. Oh, I'm sorry. There's three phases. One of the problems is this, events.eventLoop.run. That event loop, we, we need to make our game work well with that event loop. And that's probably going to mean moving all of the game loop logic out of our main function into the on update. Which begs the question, how often does that on update get called? Update event.run. So the yield basically gives the operating system a chance to breathe. So it's just going to run as fast as it can, as long as self.running is true. We need to basically hook our main game loop into that event loop so that we can take advantage of these other things going on here. We don't have to redo our keyboard handling, but I might do it anyway, I'm not sure. I mean, we might have to if the event loop is consuming the key presses. But let's see, the next step will be just integrating our conversation display into the main program. Get it running the event loop, integrate that component, just so the two work together. And then once those two steps are done, we are going to, oh, come on. Conversation text not found in map line 92. Let's fix that error. There. Try this again. Once we have that integrated, this is the window we'll see when we talk to NPCs. It's going to be a big improvement. We're going to reskin this thing. Right now we're using the BMF font from the GUI package for this text down here, the large font, the little font here, the window title. I'm going to replace that with the font built into that comes along with our asset pack. That one, and that one for the little font. And then see if we can use some of these GUI assets to reskin our window. So that's going to probably be 3 more episodes upcoming just to get a handle on our conversation UI. So there you go. That should be interesting. And I think I'm going to stop it there for now. And thanks for watching. Oh, one more thing. Okay, now I'm done. See you later.